of time to like stabilize. So another 10 seconds, and I'm gonna get into it. Sorry everybody who is likes watching it live. Not happening this week. I'm going out to dinner for like a with Jenna's grandmother tonight, so I don't have time to do everything, and I didn't have time to do it earlier this week either because work has been absolutely banana pants. All right, so let's get into it. Horsehead Weekly, week number 16, the championship week, the finals. I don't know if I legally can say the finals without getting sued by the NBA, but I'm willing to take that chance. So, last week, this is going to be really short because I don't really want to go in depth on anything and talk about any crazy stuff that's going on. No one really cares. Y'all are just here to see where you are in the power rankings, if you're here at all, or to see what the 550 is about so I can explain it for the 15th time to Malcolm. So last week, I fell in the first semifinal match to Mike, who put up a very, very large number. My team had put up bigger previous weeks, but I was unable to make anything happen as several members of my team just absolutely crapped the bed, and one of them ended up getting hurt even and is out for the rest of the season. So yeah, just not a good week for me. Good week for Mike, and with that, he advances and he definitely deserves it. And on the other side of the bracket, James, the same thing that I did, stumbled, had some people who were supposed to be good do bad, and Nick ended up capitalizing with a very good run himself, putting together, so basically no real issues. No one sitting here saying, "Oh, well, if I picked the wrong person, I should have picked James or anything." No, no, no. Everything just kind of worked out, and yeah, so that's where we are. We're here, and it's pretty even. So Mike versus Nick. Good luck to the two of you. You will be in the finals, and in the semifinal, losers they fall down to the 3-4 decider match. And then we have the 550, and in the 550 it is the two people who lost in the quarterfinals or the round one or round of six, whatever you want to call it. Steve and Matt M, and they are up against in a pool format, so it's whoever scores the most points over 2 weeks. It's not brackets or anything like that. So whoever scores the most points over 2 weeks gets in, and that is Dave, Malcolm, Doug, and Matt S in there as well. And yeah, so let's get to the winners bracket real quick just to show how that's going. As I said, it will be uh, Mike and Nick. So best of luck to you two in the finals. But yeah, I'll get to the 550 in a second. For now, I just want to go over what happened last week and update everyone on incentives so you can see, maybe you want to adjust your lineup a little bit and try to get that $5. Maybe you're not feeling good about the 550, but you're close on an incentive. Or maybe you have, some really good, maybe you're out of it entirely, or you feel like two people are close. It's between a running back and a wide receiver, and you're a little bit, the wide receiver race you're still in, so maybe you want to put in the wide receiver of the running back. It's just generally stuff like that. So yeah, so for the incentives, I feel it's safe to declare a winner in two of these. In right off the bat, it is the quarterback and running back. I am declaring Malcolm the winner in the quarterbacks and myself the winner in the running backs. Short of Nick, Matt M, or Steve putting up, we're talking 50 points apiece. 100-point week, something along those lines. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to catch up, and that just means that it's just not going to happen, and they are going to be yeah, they're just not going to, and nobody can catch me at this point, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to declare myself the winner there, and same thing with the QB. It would take literally Patrick Mahomes not playing, followed up by whoever Matty Ice putting up 70, which I really, really don't think is going to happen. I'm actually looking at this right now, and I'm realizing I think I entered a number wrong. I think that's supposed to be 79.2 for Steve, or 89.2 for Steve. Something insane like that, because his team did very, very well last week. I'm just going to double check on that live on the air, because I'm a professional. So for Steve, no, it was actually, that is correct. So, sorry, I thought his guys put up like 39 points each. They only put up 29 points each. Oh boy. But yeah, so it would take something incredibly, incredibly rare and bizarre. So those two people I'm going to call. Two races I'm not ready to call yet. is a wide receiver. I think it's going to come down to Mike and James. I think those two are so close right now. I mean, honestly, if James and Mike have somebody who's close as a wide receiver 3 versus their running back 3 for the flex spot, I know Mike doesn't have that problem because he just has 3 stud wide receivers. But on the other side, James, if you want to go for the $5 as well, that's how you got to do it. And then at tight end, it's probably Matt M. I really think it's probably Matt M. But there's always the possibility that Ertz puts up another stinker, puts up like 5 points, and Kittle goes out and puts up 25 or something like he did 2 weeks ago. Same thing with Travis Kelce. So those are possibilities, but I just wasn't comfortable calling Matt M quite yet. For the defensive side of it, it really comes down to Nick and Gabe for defensive line. Again, I think it's nearly impossible for Gabe to catch Nick, but I'm willing to give him that benefit of the doubt and say that, hey, something could happen here. You never know. And say that, so we're going to do that. And we're going to say that Gabe has a chance. Not a good chance, but a chance. But at linebacker, nobody's putting up, 40 points and beating the 2 of Nick's linebackers by 40 points. That's just not happening. So at linebacker, I'm going to declare it for Nick. He wins another $5 there. Defensive back, there's a lot of people still in it. Mike, Matt S., Nick, and Steve. Mike has the advantage right now, but another week like he had last week between him and Matt S., just a little bit more skewed to Matt S. Suddenly, Mike just goes away, and it becomes one of them earning the $5 instead. And then we have the other 3 $5 incentives that we have. The finish him at the bottom, that just goes to Malcolm. He did a fine job this year, and he ended up, taking out Dave and causing him to be eliminated from the playoffs. So kudos to Malcolm for that. At the Bad Luck Brian, that is the incentive for scoring the most points without winning a game. So this is only for one week, and in that 1 week, Doug ended up losing with 174.3. Steve ended up losing with 172. Those are on different weeks, but those are still the top 2, and it's only for the regular season. So congratulations to Doug, narrowly beating out Steve for being the best loser, I guess. And then at the bad defense, we have Steve and Dave, who, after a full season of battling, it literally came down to 0.3 points for who gave up the most points for, or most points against, rather. And so sorry, Dave. You almost got $5, but Steve ends up edging you out by literally 0.3 points, and that's just crazy. So congratulations to Steve on that one. And that for this week, we have, of course, the championship match between Nick and Mike, the 3-4 match between James and myself, and then in pool play, we have Steve and Malcolm in the first head-to-head that isn't really a head-to-head because it doesn't actually count. Malcolm could beat Steve and still not get the fight for 50. I don't know how else I can say it. It's the same format we had last year. Then we have the 2 Matts in the second tier, and then in the third tier we have Doug and Dave. And I've already given every team the points they earned last week in this week, so you can just watch the scores go up on ESPN, and you'll see, oh, Steve ended up putting up, I don't know, some large number. So, good for him. And you could be like, hey, he wins, cool. Or maybe he does bad, and Malcolm ends up putting a large number, and he's like, yeah, Malcolm wins. You don't have to sit there doing math going back and forth. So let's finish it up with the rankings. In the C class, we have Gabe still at the very bottom, Doug just after him, and then Dave. At this point, everyone's team is full of kind of garbage players because they're no longer holding on to people. There's no reason to hold on to somebody who's going to be out for a week or two. We're just, cutting them and bringing on somebody else just in case. So I'm not going to really look at the teams and analyze them that much. And then we have Tyler down here as well because his team's just been kind of trash lately because I think he just kind of abandoned it after he was eliminated. Can't really blame him. It's there's that. Matt S. comes in at number 8, moving up 1 spot. He is with Matt M. and Malcolm in the B class. Malcolm drops down a spot, and yeah, again, there's gonna the final power rankings are gonna be like, oh, how good was everybody throughout the year, and how did they fare in tough matchups, and how many points did they put up, and what was their points against, and blah 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 blah. And I'll do all that, and I'll talk about everyone next week. But for now, that is the B class. In the A class, we just have Steve, James, and myself. All three of them very good teams. Steve moving up after last week because Derrick Henry came alive, as did Doug Baldwin. So maybe his team has some juice left and will be using it to earn $50. Plus he has some incentives already, so he's looking to try to potentially win his money back the hard way. Uh, James, bad team last week, but good team over the last few weeks, so I'm going to keep it number 4. And I can't keep myself at number 1 after I get absolutely demolished. And, put the 2 people in the S class that deserve it. That is Mike and that is Nick. Basically, congratulations to whoever wins next week for those two, because they will be the number 1 in the power rankings probably for the entire season. And they will also do some, they'll also get the money and the fame and the glory and the belt and all that other stuff. So, thank you everybody for watching. I know I did this in like 11 minutes, but, have to do what you have to do when times call for it. So, I will see you all next time. And, yeah, stay tuned for maybe not next week, but in the next couple weeks, the year in review video. Stay safe. Goodbye.